Alright, so today we dive on the topic of Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram is one of the India's most respected national song. It was written by the Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, or we can say that the Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in 1882, and play a powerful role during the India's freedom struggle. For many of the Indians, these words express the deep feeling of love, respect for the nations as well. So, during this current scenario, the winter season of the parliament is ongoing, and one of the most widely discussed topic is in the ongoing winter season is national song Vande Mataram, where the government of the center is accusing the Congress for more specifically accusing Jawaharlal Nehru that they had shortened the Vande Mataram and only took the first two stanzas as a national song of India, while removing the other part under the pressure of the Muslim League, and the Congress, on the other hand, is defaming that. So, I thought in this particular discussion, podcast, lecture, or anything that you can consider my view on this topic, I will be discussing the entire history of this controversy and what exactly happened regard this. So, let's see all about and where we need to stand. We start with the origin of the national song that is written by the Bankim Chandra Chatterjee or Chattopadhyay. He is the senior civil servant working under the East India Company. Now, when the British was here, they had employed a lot of very non-respected Indians because they want people who are educated to work for them. That does not mean that the Indians were not patriotic enough, like Mr. Bankim Chandra Chatterjee was actually working for the British, but he still had a feeling of their own motherland. He also wanted India to become independent as soon as possible. Now, if we look at the original Vande Mataram, they have total 8 stanzas. Out of that, only the first two stanzas has been adopted as a national song. Interestingly, even Mr. Chatterjee wrote Vande Mataram. He wrote first stanzas at very earliest time and then added six stanzas later on. In his very famous work Anand Math, in his novel, this is where he used the entire poem called Vande Mataram. Anand Math itself a very interesting novel. In this novel, we can read how there the family living in a rural areas that are being exploited and how they are now being held by the people who are fighting against the British rule. This poem has been inspired by the Fakire Sannyasi rebellion. Now, what was the Fakire Sannyasi rebellions? Fakir Sannyasi rebellions started later 18th century, where the Fakir basically come from the Muslim community and the Sannyasi from the Hindu community. When they combine, they join their hand together to fight against the British rule because British were introducing politics of exploiting in the name of the land revenue collection. They were especially exploiting those who were moving from one place to another. So both Fakir and Sannyasi did not have one single place where they would stay and their movement was restricted. So they joined their hand together to fight against the British rule and British exploited them even further also. Now on the other hand, or other things that you had to know about the Bankim Chandra Chatterjee or Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay before moving forward or ahead, that he was posted in Bengal, and on that time Bengal has a very huge piece of land. Imagine today's areas related to West Bengal, Bangladesh, and also some nearby district. So it has a huge population of almost around 7 crore peoples. Now, in his work, that is Anand Math and other that he had written, he was a big critic of the ruler of Mir Jafar in West Bengal. However, Mr. Chatterjee, while writing about the rule of the Mir Jafar, he actually generalized it as a Muslim rule. So, it not really single one single individual ruling or exploiting the people. He also generalized in many area of his writing and he thoughts of it as a Muslim rule. On the other hand, in his writing, he mostly praised the British. In fact, he had even praised Warren Hastings as well. He had written in his book that the British rule was actually a rule of law in India. So it's not the most of his work is lying with what other freedom fighter had thought about. Now, from the previous discussion, we should understand that the first two stanzas were written earlier when he was a very rational thinking person. On that time, Mr. Chatterjee against the idea of the idol worship. Later on, his mind was changed. He became the more supporter of the spirituality, idol worship, and inspired by the idea of the French Revolution as well about the preservation of the culture or our motherland. So the first two stanzas were written when he was against the idol worship, and the last six stanzas were written when he changed their thinking about the idol worship. Now the poem Vande Mataram became famous after the Ravindranath Tagore recited it famously at Indian National Congress session in 1896. So actually, the tune is given by the Ravindranath Tagore that actually we sing that song. After 1896, the poem became famous. It is actually become the war cry of the freedom fighters who were fighting against the British. It was something that terrorized the British so much that the British, in fact, had banned the Vande Mataram in various public platforms because the British thought that this particular poem is actually being used to incite the violence. The Britishers thought that this is something that was being used to mobilize the power against them, and they were against it. Congress, on the other hand, in 1937 adopted the Vande Mataram as a national song. Now, this is where the controversy starts. Controversy is only adopted the first two stanzas, not remaining six. This is what the current government, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, specifically has been pointed toward this Vande Mataram. Now, if you look at the winter session debate that is happening in the parliament right now, the Prime Minister consistently saying that it was under the pressure of the Muslim League at that time. That Nehru Congress, they all bent that they sure that remaining six stanzas were removed. Now, what exactly the story is? When in 1937 the Congress adopted these two stanzas, in Congress Working Committee, the Kolkata meeting, October November 1937, at that particular time, the prominent leader was Jawaharlal Nehru, Gandhi, Patel, Subhash Chandra Bose, Maulana Azad, and Sarojini Naidu. So, all the members are equally responsible for the adoption of these two stanzas, not only Nehru, because Nehru was the first prime minister. So, today, the most of the members say that the Nehru is responsible for that. So I think that is the wrong thing for the debate. So why first two paragraph was chosen? So if you look at the original poem from the third paragraph onward, it talk a lot of Hindu point of views from Hindu religious connotation point of view. It talk about the idol worship like Hindu goddess, Durga goddess, and also talk about the militant imaginary etc. So this is something that Muslim did not connect with it. Now those who follow Islam, for them idol worship is strictly prohibited. They do not believe in idol worship, and that is why the problem started. So when something is adopted as a national song like the song of the nation, that is where the point come in that the Muslim population say that no, we don't accept this. As long you have to sing it within the Congress, we don't have any problem. But if you are reporting as a national song, then we demand that you should only take first two stanzas, not the other ones. Then when this demand was made, the Congress, Jawaharlal Nehru especially are taking the opinion from the Ravindranath Tagore on that time. He asked Tagore that what is your view about this, what you think about it if we take only the first two paragraph only. Then one of that, the Ravindranath Tagore suggested that yes, we should only take first two paragraph from the official purpose and now let leave the other stanzas. So again, it was not only the Jawaharlal Nehru individual decision. All the Kolkata meeting members at 1937 came together to decide, and that is how the compromise was made. Now moving forward, I'm again repeated. The complete structure have 8 stanzas in total. The Congress at that time, when the demand was being made that lead the 6 stanzas should not be taken as an official song, had these dilemmas. Either the Congress had the first option to say that no, we will not adopt the entire poem. No matter what you like, you don't like it, we don't care. Congress on that time decided that no, this is not the right way to go ahead. We should be, or we should be much more accommodative rather than being confrontational with the other side. Also, the Muslim lead, being led by the Muhammad Ali Jinnah, has opposed this because the first I say that this tune is religious after the second stanzas, and that is why they did not really connect with it. Gandhi, Tagore, and all of them are supported this. So this was not only the sole decision of the Jawaharlal Nehru. In fact, on that controversies 1937, it would be correct to say that the Nehru was not even the biggest leader that the India had on that particular time. We have Gandhi, we have Tagore's, Ravindranath Tagore's, Subhash Chandra Bose, Maulana Azad, Sarojini Naidu, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. They are also a genius leader on that particular time. So why this is in the news? This is in the news because we are celebrating 150th anniversary of this national song. During the winter season 2025 parliamentary debate here, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi accusing that the Congress as a minority appeasement. Historically, allegation that the Congress leadership bow down the demand of the Muslim League, something that the BJP accusing the Congress. And on the other hand, there were again different view of the historians. Some historians do blame the Congress for chopping up the national song. On the other hand, some historians say that yes, there have been instances in the past when the song has been used to create a communal divide between the communities. So, what Congress did was not wrong. While not being confrontational, by being accommodative, they were actually doing the right thing according to me. So, what is your opinion? Give your opinion in the comment box. So, proud to propose. Thank you.